Let's do a profile. We haven't talked to him again. There we go. Dunn's death.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Relationship.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say. He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That and...
And?
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
He was a womanizer, this douche.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
I thought we needed more
Just
stuff
be
from him.
careful with the plants during your inspection.
Let's see if they'll let me through. Ah, I have to activate this.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
No, I'm just gonna walk in. Fuck your shit, bitch. I'll be back for you in a minute. I don't think there was much in here. Oh, what's this?
According to this, they have...
Alright, this is the murder scene. Dry tropics. There was something here that I had to check. I think it was here.
These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes. The symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
So something was up. I don't think there was anything in here. Just gonna look around though.
Dry.
Run, man. Okay.
There is a smell of burning.
It tastes like burning.
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
Some information we need.
The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned.
Here's the old door handle.
A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn.
It's meant to be protective like that. It's a good quality. You know you got a good product.
The remains of a picture frame. A broom handle was half burned.
A witch did it! It all makes sense now. Just kidding. I don't really need the map. I know where they all are.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings.
That's going to be an object of interest, if I'm not mistaken. We have to come back to this later. Just keep it at the back of your minds for the time being.
Locked.
Right, I can't go here yet. I'm going to have to talk to some of the guys and get some keys. Alright, there's the Colonial Collections room right there. Alright, let's go talk to the son. Let's go talk to Albert, I think his name is. Then we'll have to come back to this guy. Now you can help me, sir. Let's profile him. So he's a young man. Very clean hands. Not the hands of a gardener.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
That's the spirit, man.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee.
And that's something
In fact,
to write home
if we're
about.
to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences.
Just like
He
we
was
saw.
convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Yeah, we saw that at the evidence room. We saw that letter. He took the credit for that.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Sure.
Thank you, young man.
We have some deductions now. Oh. Okay, so nothing yet. They told me to make some judgments. Even though I can't. So I go, there's new ones. No, there isn't. Weird. Alright. That's that. Now let's go do some more inspections. We'll go into the office here. This is the director's office. So this is Dunn's office. That champagne though.
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. French wine. A remarkable vintage.
Can you imagine if you got a wine from that, like that long ago? Okay, hold on. Fuck it, we'll start with this.
Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
New plant species. The Kew Gardens team are pleased to announce the successful production of a new variety of barley, one that contains a complete resistance to the cold. They've named it the Siberian barley. Mr. Martin Hamish, the proud cultivator of the graft, will hold a press conference next Monday morning upon this very subject. My dearest Margaret, following our last conversation, I believe it might be better if you vacate your position here at Kew Gardens. As you pointed out quite bluntly, you are no longer in need of my support. You are quite able to stand up for yourself in this world, as you say. Well, I give you back your freedom and wish you nothing but good luck. So that Margaret Smith, right? No, not Smith. White. Miss White. The other lady we haven't met yet. He basically was firing her. Really? So nothing yet. That just helps us with that.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
The director's safe. Oh, I remember the combination. Oh, 1 second. Like a boss, baby. It actually didn't take me that long to figure this one out in my regular game as well. I'll probably skip a lot of these door locks, though, just because I don't want to waste time. My dear friend, please allow me to express my disappointment upon reading your last letter. I am paying you to defend me, not to accuse me. Kew Gardens is a royal institution. We are granted the great opportunity to travel the world and to save the most extraordinary, precious, and rare species of plant. Our duty is to protect such species, and from those who might wish to use them for dubious purpose. The divine syndicate of whom you speak have no right to hold such precious plants. Remember the case of June 14th, 1889. So I must respectfully ask that you once again to notarize the permissions on these plants on behalf of Kew Gardens. Documents were sent to you on Monday. P.S. See you in Boodles on Tuesdays always. Done. Complaint letter. Mr. Dunn, we must ask you for the last time for the return of our dear sisters. You do not have the right to hold them imprisoned. They do not belong to you. Your so-called possessions are wholly false. You are hiding behind lies. The lie we need not elaborate. That was reported in the press as the case of June 14th, 1889. What you have done is quite abhorrent. Be very sure that we shall never abandon our family members. We trusted you and regret having done so. This divine syndicate. Another letter.
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
Debt of Miss Margaret White to Dunn. Rental of suite of rooms at Oxford Street. Educational scholarship at London University. Credits open at Hamilton. Radigan House. Tailors at the Baird & Sons Luxury Jewelers. So he bought a lot of stuff for her. Probably in exchange for certain favors, we shall say. Alright, we got another deduction. Had a recent disagreement. Montague Dunn was planning to release... Okay, we know that. Is there anything new? Okay. Good. So I think that's it for this room. Just do a quick run around. I remember looking at those gloves, but apparently those aren't evidence. Okay, whatever. Okay, we'll get back to him.
Locked.
Now it isn't.
This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
Oh! Owned.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
I think that's everything there. So I need more evidence.
Chemicals. A sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
Aha.
A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert.
And he's repeated the year. Like, that would suck, man. Like, I've never had to repeat a whole year of school. Can you imagine just wasting your time? I've done upgrading in summer school briefly.
It appears
for like
as
one
though the
course,
protective
but
equipment is
I
missing.
can never
from
do a
here.
whole course again.
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
Clearly. Well, he already said, he said insecticide type stuff.
Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
This I'm going to skip just because I don't want to waste my time with it. Oh. It's not going to let me. Maybe in a second. Let me skip. There. Don't want to
Open.
bother. Open sesame.
Albert's locker. Specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College.
Sir, it is my regret to inform you that despite your excellent results within our entry exams, we are unable to invite you to the Royal Navy School. Your father, Montague Dunn, has expressed his intention to entrust to you the directorship of the Royal Botanic Gardens in the Kew. And it is clear that he would not release you for an entire year of naval training. Please accept all our best wishes for your future. So basically, he wanted into the naval college. He would have got in, but his father had a word about it and changed his mind.
Young Albert, standing with a woman in front of London University.
Probably Miss White.
Martin Hamish's locker. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces. Father and I, Kew Gardens.
Hamish and his father.
Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting.
General Secretary, recent events unfolding at Kew Gardens obliged me to renew my application for the management position. As I have stated, as I have stated already in my previous letters, I believe that no one is better suited for the post. While Montague Dunn was alive, I understood your reservation to my suggestion. Your reasons were political, and so I was happy to comply. But now the Kew Gardens lie in disorder. How can I stand by and allow it? How can I leave them in the hands of inexperienced people with no motivation? Must urge you to cast your decision as a matter of urgency, so that I may devote myself entirely to the noble task ahead and free my mind from this uncertainty. So he wanted the management position for sure.
Miss White's locker.
Very nice jewelry box.
These jewels must be worth a small fortune. A vanity purse. It is of high quality.
Margaret, we were surprised to receive your letter. How could you think to ask us for money? After all these years that have passed since you left, and without any thought of us, you have never shared with us any detail of your success at the university, but you choose to do so now? We suppose you must be ashamed of us, for we are not from the same high class as your new friends. Yes, we are modest people, but you should learn to put your family first as we at home have always done. And none of us ever compromise their reputation, as it appears you have already with your employer, Mr. Dunn. No, Margaret, it is you who makes us feel ashamed. Oh, what bitch? Know your bitch-ass place. Another letter. Dear Margaret, I know how your financial troubles are overwhelming you at the present time. Please let me reassure you that I could not permit you to remain in such a dilemma. I was born of a wealthy family. I would consider it an honor if you might accept my help. Albert.
Apparently, Miss White is a capable student.
Master's degree in chemistry. So she's pretty smart.
A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents.
Alright, let's do some more deductions. Margaret White's studies and social situation were completely dependent upon Dunn. Okay. That's it for now. Okay, I think we're done here. Ah, right. The lab table. Almost skipped it.
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Sorry. Emergency vehicle went by.
Several
People are hopping
drops
the
of
curb and shit.
substance was spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops.
Yeah.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
Gold
The gold
dust!
is almost immune to chemical attack, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Because
The bottle is
plants.
no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
Tobuscus.